Today's episode of This Week in MMO is brought to you by World of Tanks. If you guys have not checked out World of Tanks, you have to go right now to gboffer.com/tanks. It's free to play. Game Breaker TV. What's up, everybody? Welcome to This Week in MMO. It's episode 207 for October 23rd, 2014. I'm Gary Gannon. Joining me, as always, it's the Troy Blackburn and the Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, bring it sexy back.
Could you imagine we get Justin Timberlake on the show? Yep. That'd be hilarious. Lots to talk about today. Lots of controversy, lots of cool things, lots of fun things, some bad things. We'll get to all of that. Let's see. Let's quick update on what's going on over at Game Breaker TV. So we got This Week in MMO rolling. Thinking about changing some stuff up in 2015, getting some more shows rolling pretty soon. So we'll be doing that. Launch the Black Triangle. If you guys haven't checked it out, go to blacktriangle.com. Check out some UFO craziness. People love the UFO stories, by the way. They love them. Ebola scaring the hell out of people. They love the UFOs. Go check it out.
It's awesome seeing that stuff and being more involved in that than I ever have, and just kind of, being able to write about that stuff and just seeing more of the reports out there than I ever knew existed in a day. Yep.
And we got a show coming as well. Got a podcast coming. Coltrane, myself, and my buddy Rob. So that'll be coming. We're doing another couple run throughs, so we're trying to iron out the kinks to get the show format working, but we'll have a show on that site as well. I don't know when we're going to be recording that just yet or when we're releasing it. I don't have any of that info yet, but that will be coming very soon. Sorry for skipping last week's show. Kind of got all jumbled. I was in Las Vegas for the Final Fantasy XIV Fest. Did you guys watch any of the live stream?
No, I didn't get a chance to.
Pay. I tried to watch it. You had no choice but to pay for it. Just
really? I thought there was
pay.
Oh, I thought there was two versions. I thought there was a free version as well.
Well, if there was a free version, it wasn't linked anywhere on their website. It just had one link. It went to their Twitch page, and then you had to pay to be able to view anything.
I mean, I guess I'm give or take on stuff like that. I mean, I can understand them paying.
Too.
When I was there, I saw their setup of what they were doing as far as like what they put into making the live stream. I gotta say, I can understand possibly why they would want you to pay. They did a really good job. I mean, they had like insane amounts of gear and camera, professional, like full on like camera equipment, not like, a couple webcams hooked up and here's some people just talking. Like they had a really nice setup going. So probably need to offset the cost because I'm sure just those camera and operators alone probably cost a pretty penny.
I tell you what, after the screw up of the initial launch of XIV, they want to make sure they don't half-ass anything else, don't they?
No, really. I mean, the fans, it was really interesting going there too because obviously we talk about the big announcement, expansion. We got the patch coming tomorrow. We're recording this on Thursday. The patch is tomorrow, right? Friday? Am I right? It's Friday? I think it's Friday. Which is going to be pretty cool. Patch 2.4 has got a new class.
Yeah, big one.
All kinds. That's a big patch coming. But it was really cool, man. It was much bigger of a expo or a con, whatever you are, a fest, whatever you want to call it, than I had expected. Their first one out of the gate, I don't know. I've kind of been to some of the smaller ones just for individual games or like, not individual games, but SOE does theirs in Vegas. I usually go to that. And I mean, it doesn't compare to like BlizzCon, obviously. But I was very impressed by the turnout. A lot of people there. A lot of people.
Bigger than what you thought it was going to be then?
Definitely. Much bigger than I thought. The turnout was crazy. I mean, the lines just to get up badges were just out of control. We were walking down the aisle. I couldn't believe this many people were here for Final Fantasy. It was really funny to see Yoshi P like walk down, through and just like gamers just going crazy, just going ape shit.
I bet he was a rock star in that joint.
I mean, this is a company who's right now, I feel like, at least for their Final Fantasy series, I mean, they're surviving because of their fans. It's the fans
dude,
who made their game successful.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'd use the word surviving. I would use the word killing it.
Well,
so
yeah,
they've
it now. They survived and then killed it. They survived from their previous mistakes.
I mean, I believe somebody in chat room may be able to tell me if Twitch is having some trouble today, but they upped their count while I was there, I believe, of how many people are playing the game now. I can't remember the number. I'm probably getting it wrong, but I feel like if it was like 2.2 million or something, now they're saying like 2.4, 2.6, so it's still going up. I gotta say,
there seems to be lots of reasons to play it. I mean, everything coming out of that game right now just sounds fantastic, and like they know what they're doing, and most people seem happy with what they're producing right now. So,
with both,
I mean, if you had to ask me,
expansions, people are gonna want to play. They're gonna come.
Oh hell yeah!
I want to play. I've never played a Final Fantasy game. Go ahead and slaughter my nerd cred right now. After I get some time in with Nightmare Tide, I'm gonna have to jump in and check out this XIV thing and see what.
Dude, rolling with me. I just rolled a new tune. It got me to roll. I got home. The first thing I did was roll a new tune. I wanted to roll a different tune.
Yeah,
so I'm back.
I've got to jump in. I don't care if it's subscription and I don't know much about it or whatever. It's gotten to the point now where I can't not jump in and see what this is all about.
I mean, I gotta say, as far as MMOs go, and especially sub-based MMOs, I wouldn't even say the sub-based. I just say MMOs across the board. If you're not a fan of World of Warcraft, if you're not, that's not your game, you're not playing that, and you're not into PvP so much, I wouldn't really, this isn't a PvPers game. But if you're into the PvE and you're looking for an MMO and you want something like different other than WoW, I gotta say, I think it's probably the best thing on the market. I don't know of anything else that's better.
It's definitely coming across as the best MMO on the market right now. Just from an outside perspective, looking in, when I hear things that they're doing and hear things that people say about it, it comes across as the best MMO on the market right now. Now, I need to jump in and get my hands on it. Like I said, I'm getting about ready to make that call for myself, but that's just what it sounds like from the outside looking in. Best MMO on the market. That's what it comes across as.
This is a great time to jump in. 2.4 is going to be a huge patch. I mean, this is a patch. This is the patch. They also announced the upgrade, but this patch brings 2 new classes. It's got the Rogue and the Ninja.
I think that's what I want to try is possibly play that Ninja or something.
Oh my God, everybody's going to be rolling Ninja come Friday. I was going to wait till Friday. I may still do it, but I'm like, do you realize how many level 1 ninjas are going to be?
I think this patch goes in this weekend, for that matter. I think it goes down on Sunday for a 24-hour maintenance and comes up.
Oh, you may be right. You may be right. I wasn't sure it was Friday. I knew it was this weekend. I wasn't sure. Yeah, that class looks really cool. You're gonna you got 2 new classes in this patch. You've got a new dungeon, Snowcloak. You got 2 hard modes, and you get the if you guys are familiar with how the raid stuff works, the coil of Bahamut. You get the final coil is coming in this patch as well. But I've got some friends. I got one buddy who plays this all the time, and he just swears by this game. And he was a hardcore WoW player. He loved WoW. Played it for years. Says it's the best game on the market as well.
I think the game really makes you just want to be like a part of the world. I mean, that's what the Final Fantasy series does for all its fans. They love the Final Fantasy worlds itself that they create and things. So, and it's a beautiful game. Like
it is beautiful.
That's one thing that they definitely do right.
I mean, they don't really break the mold with much. I feel like it's a much more story-driven game, though. I mean, they do tell, like, there's an overarching story, but they tell it in chunks after, like, every 5 levels. That's kind of how it goes. Like, you play 5 levels, you get a big chunk of story, and you go through some quests and things that have to do with the story, play for 5 levels, get to that. It's kind of a nice balance. It's a bit different. But really, as far as, like, the questing goes, the tab target, like, it's a traditional MMO. They were not really trying to break any new ground here. They were just trying to make something super fun, super solid. All the systems work. Everything you could want in the game, like in an MMO, is really in here. Housing, I mean, there's really nothing about the raids. I played 1 or 2 of the raids back when I was playing earlier. But I hear the raids are just fantastic. Like, up to World of Warcraft standards.
I've watched some of the raids on Twitch, and I'm just as enthralled by that as I am watching like a Rift raid or something that I know, what's kind of the fight and what's going on. Looks fantastic.
So yeah, the fest was really cool. I mean, they had tons of machines set up. They were letting people play a bunch of the primals fights, so they could sit down and do that, which is like just big ass boss kind of fights. Well, they are bosses. They had some cool archery stuff set up, and you gotta like shoot bow and arrows. they had a bunch of questing stuff where like you could they gave you like a quest book as part of your swag bag, and then you went around and like if you killed one of the bosses, like, you know, they stamped it off in your book and gave you a t-shirt. So like everything you could do almost got you another t-shirt, which is kind of cool. I think the only fault I could kind of like say, besides having a great turnout for a first con, the only thing that was a little bit kind of you know, I heard people grumbling a bit about the lines. I don't know if they anticipated how long the lines were going to be to play this stuff. So that, I think,
was this their first fest, or did they have this every year? Or?
No, this is their first one. This is it. This is the first time they've ever done anything like this. Hats off to ex-CM Robert Peeler over there. He did a good job.
It's good to see when like a game launches and the queue lines are forever. Is like that in real life too. Like the devs are always worried about, you know, underestimating the amount of people who are going to want to play their game or come to their event, and all of a sudden you get lines for miles, and you're like, okay, what do we do now? We wouldn't expect this many people. It's a good problem to have. If you're going to have a problem, that's the one you want. You got too many people, and you got to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah, I do think for next year, but they do need to, because they're going. I think the next one they're doing is in London, and they're doing another one somewhere else. So they're taking this thing is like on the road a bit. But I do think if they're watching, they should take some. And I'm sure they know this is somehow get those lines down. Because I was sitting at Starbucks talking to this one dude. And he told me he waited online at the store to buy stuff. This is where people are online, clutching American dollars, waiting to give you cash or a credit card to buy shit. And they had to wait 3.5 hours online.
Oh, wow.
To buy stuff. So
but that guy stayed in that line and bought something. I'm assuming.
Yeah. They know.
Fest in Japan, or did they actually, or was it just one fest, one Final Fantasy fest?
No, I believe it is going to happen in Japan. Like I think it started here. I think maybe it's Japan. You could look it up, but I know they're like, this was the first one. I believe they're doing it here that they had. And then I think in like 2 weeks they're doing it in London. Oh, okay. And then and then 2 more weeks.
Next year. I thought you meant next year they were going to do it in London. I'm like, geez, they're going to wait forever to get to Japan.
No, I think there's three. There's three of them. I believe something like that. But yeah, besides that, I think everybody had a really good time. A lot of people cosplaying, a lot of people dressed up, you know, partying, hanging out. So it was definitely a good turnout, but like I said, much bigger than I thought. So for Final Fantasy fans, I think most of them had a really good time. I think everybody will agree that they did some really cool stuff. They did actually some cool stuff that was really smart, that I think, like the questing and the stuff that they had set up with parties and stuff was really cool. So they always had something for people to do. I think the one thing that they'll go away with saying is, man, I just wish the lines weren't so long to play this stuff. I feel like at BlizzCon you wait at lines too, but like an hour is like tops. 3, that's a lot. Like that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a very long time to be in a line. I'm the type where if I'm there for 45 minutes to an hour, I'm just like, okay, you know, whatever. I'll catch you later.
Go sit down and watch something.
Yeah, there's too much other stuff going on for me to sit in your line to try to give you money for 3 hours. But
then they had all the keynotes,
and obviously all their fans don't necessarily feel that way.
No, because I mean, for the most part, there weren't keynotes going on. You were there to play and do the activities, right? Like that's what you traveled to Vegas for. You weren't just gonna be like, peace out. So they had the keynotes, the big keynote. Obviously, they I forget what day that was. That was like Saturday, I believe, Saturday morning. So Heavensward is the expansion coming out.
So hold on, I made the same mistake here. Unless that's actually how they're pronouncing it. Is it Heaven's Sword or Heavensward?
Oh,
it's spelled W-A-R-D.
You're probably right. It's probably Heavensward. Yeah, you're probably right. I don't know why I just sort of sword.
That's what it makes you think of. I thought Heaven's Sword.
Because it looks so close to sword, but I know it's that sword. Yeah, maybe you're right.
I hear the sword in the beginning of the video too.
Heavensward. Yeah, you're actually right. So that's coming out in 2015. It's part of the 3.0 update. So that's got some new primals, dungeons, more high-end raids, more jobs, a new playable race. It's going to increase the level cap from 50 to 60. New city state. So what is it? Ishgard? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I believe so. That's one of the places.
Yeah.
They got like a really long name for it, apparently.
So, brand new, really great CGI trailer to go along with it. Did you guys watch that? Really good stuff.
Yeah, that was Blizzard level sort of cinematic trailer stuff going on right there. I was pretty impressed with that. I was like, okay, this looks cool.
I always wanted to sign up just because of that trailer. Then I realized it's spring 2015. I was like, darn. And I want the new playable race too. It's like if I'm gonna rejoin and create a new class and stuff, I want a new character. I want a new playable race. I gotta wait till then for that.
But here we go. They're not half-assing anything anymore. This is an expansion, ladies and gentlemen.
It is a serious expansion.
New jobs, I mean, yeah, they're just like, you know what? From now on, we're just gonna give it to you, and we're gonna, give you everything you want. And if we're gonna make an expansion, it's gonna be a real expansion. It's not gonna be an episode or whatever some of these games are throwing out under the expansion banner nowadays. This is an expansion, ladies and gentlemen.
Probably gonna have a box and everything.
This patch is almost close to an expansion.
I know, right?
Things. Yeah. Just throw a raid down there in a new zone, and you'll be complete.
But they release these patches like consistently. Like these patches are like consistently adding story and just major updates. Their patches are not flimsy whatsoever.
I mean, looking at this right now, it's basically November is when the first patch comes out, patch 2.4. So next week, patch 2.4 comes out, and then we got 4 months before we get the expansion.
Yep,
it's not bad.
No, it's not far at all.
To play through, you can level them up on your same character. I love that fact in the game.
Yep, you really only need one character in Final Fantasy, really.
Which is awesome for those of us who enjoy jumping around from game to game to game. I love being able to do at least most everything I want to do on one character, so I don't have to have like a million alts, because if I can't do it all on one character, I definitely feel the need to have a million alts.
And it's like $2 less or whatever a month too if you only choose to have one only.
Yep, you don't have to add characters to your account. It was, like I said before too, it was really funny, man. Seeing people like flip like their lids when Yoshi P comes walking down. He's like a rock star to the players, man. They go nuts. They literally just mob him and just selfie heaven, taking pictures of the Yoshi P.
These people love their Final Fantasy, and they love him. They were willing to forgive the transgressions and accept the newness that works. So, big props to the fans for sticking by a franchise that they love and making the company realize that this isn't right and making them do it the right way. And props to, Square Enix for doing it the right way.
I really like these are screenshots from the expansion, and I really like how it's darker and grittier. It's a little bit more just sinister. It's not a very happy place. It doesn't seem to be. Art direction is great.
I think a lot of the I also think a lot of the Final Fantasy fans are older, at least 25 and above, in their 30s and 40s on top of that. I mean, so having a sort of maybe a dark environment that makes it feel more mature, and we kind of enjoy that.
I got to say the other thing, talking about the fans at the fest, there was a level of normalcy that was like completely not expected.
Not your typical convention nerds?
No, like normal people, like just normal everyday people having fun, going to a con, going to check out some Final Fantasy, all walks of life. It was refreshing. It wasn't like...
And you're not ill. You don't have some sort of convention virus that I noticed.
Came back with nothing that I know of.
If I start bleeding. The guy at the tail?
I did not. I followed the guy around the tail. Justin's referring to a video that we posted on Gamebreaker. You can go find it. I posted a bunch of pics from the con, and then I saw this guy with the tail. I just decided to follow him around. So he never saw me either.
Guy with the tail. You know, Gary, if you don't notice strange people at a convention, that's probably because you're the strange dude walking around following people with the tail.
You're probably correct. I was definitely the strange person at the con for sure. Going, what is that dude doing? Exactly. They're like, who is that asshat? Man, following the guy around the tail.
Haven't you ever seen a tail before? They're all
really. Seriously, I'm definitely the outcast there. But definitely worth checking out. So go check it out. I would say this is a great time for Troy, for anyone else, if you guys haven't checked it out yet, especially with this new patch coming. You might as well just wait a couple days until this new patch hits, and you do know that everybody's going to be rolling around with the new class. But probably kind of fun to do.
I think we have our Game Maker Nation guild as well. They'll probably be jumping into this patch. So
Yeah, I think this is going to bring a lot of people. Not that it needs a resurgence because there's so many people playing, but I feel like this patch in general is going to get a lot of people psyched. So
let's watch Final Fantasy be at 3 million subscribers come next week.
I wouldn't doubt it, man. When this expansion starts getting some hype, I seriously wouldn't doubt it. They are one of the few, man. They are just growing month over month. From what I hear, it just keeps growing. They just keep adding new players. So, like I said, if you guys aren't into the WoWs, this might be your home. Might be worth checking it out. Price dropped too on the box. I think it's down to like $39.95.
It makes it a lot easier to jump in if you haven't before yet too.
If you haven't before, and tab target combat is your thing and PvE is your thing, then 100% you might as well try out this game and play it.
All right, next up today, something a little bit less exciting, a little bit less joyful. WildStar Carbine Studios. We got reports just in today that they laid off about 60 employees. Now this we don't have confirmation. I don't believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, because the news has been coming out kind of scattered and crazy from Twitter. But 60 employees. That I believe is from what we are considering NCSoft West, not just specifically Carbine. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a good question. When the press release did say NCSoft West, so maybe it is just that entirely. I haven't heard anything from the ArenaNet front though. I've actually, and I don't
know if this is confirmed. Again, this is kind of spotty information, but I did see something that said the only portion of NCSoft West that was not touched at all was ArenaNet. So I believe these 60 people are from everything else other than ArenaNet. So 60 employees. It sounds like a lot of them might have been over at Carbine. So not very good news. WildStar's been having this troubles the past few months, and it looks like they're having some more trouble. We've seen last month. I mean, they didn't do layoffs last month, right? Those were just a bunch of the key players
who got different jobs and moved out.
Yeah, and they were kind of some key people just sort of moving on, which a lot of times can sort of be a precursor to maybe something like this is coming. Maybe they sort of saw it on the horizon and were like, well, let's just go ahead and move on, or maybe they just had a better opportunity. Who knows? But stuff like that. When key people start moving on to other things, you always worry. And then here, not that much later, we've got layoffs, and it doesn't sound like it's a good time at Carbine right now. It just really doesn't.
Okay, so according to the statement made by NCSoft, it was staff reductions across all of their NCSoft Western branches except for the Guild Wars 2 developer ArenaNet. But then there was an additional source that talked to Polygon that said that there were 60 members, or about 60 people from Carbine alone.
Ouch, that's a lot of people.
More than 60 people across the entire thing.
That's a good chunk. And the other thing that's a little bit alarming with this is a lot of leads. A lot of lead PvP designer. I think the community lead client engineer. So a lot of key people, kind of who you would imagine if you've got lead in the title, you're
higher paid people.
Yeah, they're probably scrambling a little bit. Need to cut some costs.
Yeah, they're definitely cutting costs and trying to get some people who make less money into some of those positions. Is what it sounds like.
What happened with this title?
And they're doing better.
Oh yeah. No, you'll see they'll probably make this work. It's just a matter of balancing the books, right? But what happened to WildStar, man? This was supposed to be the WoW killer, right? This was supposed to be like the possible one that would do it. Of course, I'm joking partially,
I think kind of looking at it, so they came out with this whole thing, when they were launched, they had tons of content available in reality. There was tons of things to do, and they tried hitting all the areas, and they hit all the areas better than most games they have tried to launch over the years. I think that was their biggest problem, though, is they were able to build up all these different areas, but maintaining those areas and updating them and keeping them fresh post-launch, there just wasn't time to be able to cover all PvP, all raiding, all solo stuff, all the events, new zones, and everything like that. I don't think they're able to I don't think they had the time and ability to do and cover everything they created. And I heard them.
If you guys had to pick one thing What do you think was the biggest downfall? Do you think the 40-man rating was probably one, and the attunement was one of the biggest possible mistakes this game made?
Yeah, I think the biggest problem they're probably having right now, or one of the bigger problems, let me rephrase that they're probably having right now is the super hardcore with the attunement and the humongous 40-man raids and trying to get that many people together. I think that's probably one of the biggest things they're facing right now, as well as not being able to put out content that functions properly when they release it. But and I'll tell you what turned me off. It was very simple. It was very in my face. It was the questing. It was very, very mediocre, typical MMO questing. And I know you can't just expect, world changes, every time a new MMO releases, but this was just the most monotonous, boring, kill 10 rats leveling up process I've experienced in quite a while.
Do you think that
it just turned me off like instantly?
Do you think that was
play as far as I got through it to be able to write about it?
Do you think that was due to the fact that they went with that 140 character quest text limit? They were like, this is the Twitter generation. Remember that was really early on. People probably don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't think that affected it because people were skipping text anyways.
Yeah,
and they're going to skip it whether it was 500 characters or 140.
But I guess my point,
going to read it regardless.
But my point is, when you're doing something that short, right? So if people don't remember what I'm talking about, they did this thing where they're questing. Did they actually stick to this rule? Did they actually stick to that rule?
I think they did.
That was like
with that rule, but there was always an audio file that played as well.
So there was a really early on when they were in development, and they talked about how, attention spans were shorter and that they were going to do Twitter style questing. So 140 characters would be all the text you'd have to read for a quest and then go do it. It's really, really short. Now what I'm sort of getting at here is like the fact that is it just because you're not invested in it? There's no story, there's no there's no flavor to it. So for the players who like that sort of thing, you're going to have the players who just click through it and don't read a word, not literally one word of it, and just go do it. And then you're going to have the other players who actually read that kind of stuff and want to get slightly invested in the storyline and see it. And then with them not having enough story, is that what turned you off, Troy? Is it the fact that
For me, no. I'm usually a just kind of click through it kind of guy, so it doesn't matter to me if you've got 140 characters of quest text or 1,000 words of quest text. Most of the time, I'm not really going to read it unless something just happens to catch my eye. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? For me, it was just the very much the pick up a quest, go out there, kill 10 things, and maybe get pieces and parts out of them, come back. Oh, we'll go back to the same spot and kill something else kind of in the same area. It was very old school MMO questing, and I know a lot of what they were going for as far as their raids and their hardcoreness, what was kind of old school philosophies, but the old school questing philosophy just didn't work for me at all. And I think probably if you were okay doing the questing but wanted more story, well now you're turned off because there's not as much story there. But if you don't care about the story, you're just like, okay, let me get through this questing. The questing just sucked, man. It just did.
What about you, Justin?
I mean, I didn't quest. Let's put it that way. I leveled up through PvP, and then they screwed PvP, and almost their entire PvP crowd left, so that became pointless. One of the main reasons I stopped playing. It was the main reason I stopped playing. But yeah, the questing. I don't like that questing style to begin with. I knew I didn't, and that's why I never touched it.
Crazy.
You have a problem with attunement because you basically have to do questing to attune.
Well, unfortunately, a bunch of them are looking for jobs. I'm sure they'll all land in good places, hopefully, so start hitting the boards. But unfortunately, it was going to be interesting to see where WildStar lands. I mean, I think they'll eventually restructure and sort everything out and still be around. I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but it's definitely going to probably be shifting some major internal things are going on right there. All right, next up, let's talk about some more NCSoft ArenaNets. The ArenaNet Guild Wars 2 currency exchange. They did a revamp on the currency exchange, and players just went apeshit.
Oh man, that's maybe the biggest thread I've ever seen on that forum at this point.
Now, let's go through it. So what did they actually do here? What were the new amounts that they set in place?
Well, they set preset amounts that you could purchase. You can purchase gems with your in-game gold through the currency exchange based on whatever the current rate is. And what you used to be able to do is if you wanted 150 gems to purchase like a transmog to make your weapon look like something else. You could just go in and spend exactly however much gold that you needed to spend to get exactly 150 gems. It was complete freedom in order to get exactly whatever.
Did they do this offset deal where you always had to like kind of like you got a few more, but you didn't get as much as you wanted, so you had to spend more to kind of get to where you needed to be?
Yeah, so now they've added in limits, like you have to buy at least 400 gems, 800 gems, 1,200 gems, or 2,000 gems. And
well, they reversed
people who
this.
are buying 150 gems at a time are pretty freaking irate that they have to buy. I think the screenshot that we had on the site at the time, 400 gems, was costing something like 75 gold. If you play Guild Wars 2, you know that gold doesn't come easy.
It's literally a gold sink. I almost feel like it's a straight up gold sink. We're gonna force you to spend extra gold that you don't need the gems for now, so you can buy this cosmetic stuff on the market, and we solve our gold sink problem. That's what it feels like.
They did revert this, though, haven't they? I believe they already pulled this out. Less than 24 hours later, I think. Did you guys check this up? I believe today they pulled this.
I have not seen an update on that.
Oh, I believe there's an update.
I saw Gail Gray's the communication team lead's response, and he should probably not be a communications team lead with what he said to people.
Accused the player base of just ranting with offering no solutions.
Yeah, some of you aren't happy about this change. I can see that. But quite honestly, most of you are sort of ranting instead of offering suggestions.
And let's be honest, it doesn't take long to go. You don't have to read much into that thread for it to be very obvious. And at first, there's not a lot of ranting the first few pages. Don't get me wrong, there is some, but it's not a lot of it. It's pretty clear that they don't need to offer suggestions. What they want is what they had back. They're not looking to, they don't want a change at all. They're not making suggestions because they don't like what you gave them. They want what they had back.
So here we go. I'm looking at IGN. Don't hold that against me. Guild Wars 2 changes reversed within 24 hours of complaints. ArenaNet has reversed its decision to change the denominations in which the in-game gold can be converted to premium gems. So you go, Troy, you can get on this story as soon as we're done with the show because we're apparently very far behind. It says, in case you missed it yesterday, whereas before players could exchange any amount of gold for gems to buy items, the new system allowed players to make the exchange only set amounts. So this is, well, I gotta say, you know what? This story was going to start out and be like, oh my God, ArenaNet, what are you thinking? To, okay, they listened to the community, they reverted it, it's back off. So it's back to way, you know, how it was normal. They reversed it. Gray explained, here's a quote. He says, it's clear that quite a lot of you would like to have greater flexibility in using the currency exchange. She then said, our intention when we designed the new interface was to streamline large volume purchases, which makes up the majority of transactions. In light of your feedback, we will update the currency exchange so that you can decide how you want to use it. We will keep the new streamlined system and also offer a new custom button on the panel that you can use to exchange any increment amount of gold. So there you go.
So they definitely had something they were trying to accomplish with this change, whether it be gold sync or trying to push people to use, you know, real money transactions instead of in-game gold. You know, maybe if we make them buy 400
Somebody's
gems,
at the
they won't have
studio
enough
door. I'll
gold.
be
They'll
right
have to
back.
go to the real money shop. Whatever it was, they still have that goal in mind, so don't think this is maybe quite over just yet. But they tried to say initially that only a small percentage of people use, you know, who use the currency exchange were doing transactions of 400 gems or less, which is why they said they set that limit. But if you look at that thread on that forum, man, it comes across as the entire player base. Whether they use it or not, we're not happy about it.
And they still want you to buy in bulk, I see, because it sounds like they just added a little button like off in the corner, like if you want the custom thing, you maybe see this button and do it.
And probably the most ridiculous thing out of the entire thing was they said initially the change was made to make it easier on new players coming into the game to understand the currency exchange. I don't know what new player is going to have enough gold to buy 400 gems in this game. So try again, but I'm glad to hear that they did reverse it because the community was definitely not having it. They were not standing for it. It was an uprising. It was bad.
It was bad, but like you said, good for them that they immediately kind of backtracked on that and made the right decision. In the long run, I don't know. ArenaNet's been always, they seem to have a pretty good reputation with that along the way of listening to the community and kind of giving them what they want. All right, so let's move on. Going to talk about some World of Warcraft, but got to talk about our sponsors first. World of Tanks. If you guys have not checked out World of Tanks, now is your time. 9.3. Totally free to play, not pay to win. If you guys have not checked it out, really, there's so much going on. I tell you it all the time. This is one game that just does not leave my desktop. I love World of Tanks. I love jumping in, just doing a couple random battles, jumping out. I like Blitz on the iPad too. But we're not talking about Blitz. We're talking about just tanks. Tanks. Seriously, guys, if you love this show, if you love This Week in MMO and you want to help support us, you can help supporting this show and keep this show going just by going to gboffer.com/tanks, make an account, sign up, and give it a shot. Like I said, it's absolutely free to play. There's no risk at all, and the game is completely not pay to win, which is awesome. So I'm super happy that they made that change quite a while back. A lot of you have maybe played it really early on, are wondering about the cash shop, and like I said, I'd say a little over a year ago, they really revamped the cash shop completely, and there's just nothing pay to win about this game. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. gboffer.com/tanks. All right, let's talk a little bit about the World of Warcraft. Patch 6.0.2 went live. This went live last.
World of Warcraft is not dead.
Yes, it is not.
And this was last week that this thing went in.
It's kind of old news. It's kind of old news, but we didn't do a show, so I figured we'd throw it back in this show as well, just because, hey, maybe you live under a rock. Maybe you don't play WoW.
Maybe you don't notice.
So this was a patch a lot of people were waiting for, though, because this has the updated character models. So you got that's the big one. I mean, that's drawn a ton of people back as the updated character models.
I'm not gonna lie. I paid $15 just to see what my characters look like now.
Did you really?
I resub. I'm gonna get around and mess with it a little bit after I get some Nightmare Tide time in. But I resub because I wanted to see what my characters look like.
Troy, so you need to get through Nightmare Tide because you and I have to play Final Fantasy, and then we have to play World of Warcraft together. I'm jumping back in too. I've taken a break and I'm jumping back in as well. Got to play it.
Man, it's
if you ever deleted the character, you can undelete it now.
Yes, character undelete. That's the other big thing that's in the 602. So that's there as well. So if you want to undelete your character that you rage quit on, it'll be there. Bunch of UI changes, bunch of additions. This is basically the last chance to get your legendary cloak and the last chance to get the Siege of Orgrimmar heirlooms. Yeah, so you're going to want to jump in now. And they've also they shifted the SKUs of the different products a little bit, and Mist of Pandaria is now a part of the base World of Warcraft purchase package. So they're shifting that around as well. And the other big news,
by the next expansion.
Yes, and then the other big news, of course, they went back up. They got a bump, and they're back to 7.4 million at the end of September.
So this is end of September. So who knows what they've gotten this past month?
And that was how much of a jump was that? Was that like 600K?
Someone in chat said it's from 6 to 7.4. It might have went from 6 something probably.
I don't remember. It was 6. I don't remember. It was like 6.
6.8.
I'm thinking it was like 6.2 or 6.8. I can't remember which one it was. I'm thinking it was like 6.8. Last time we talked about it, I don't remember for sure. But it was 6 something, and now they're already almost 7.5. And the expansion's not out yet, which you think is going to get them another, I don't know, million pretty easy. I mean, they're never going to be like height of Wrath of the Lich King again, but it looks like they're as everybody sort of expected. I don't think anybody who's sane was trying to say that, oh no, they're not going to get anybody back. It looks like they're going to get a nice little bump back, maybe even more than what we thought they were going to get out of it.
That's what it was.
Those character models, man, I'm telling you, that's what it is. I got my $15.
Everybody wants to just see them. Yeah, I think I saw the bump when I made it. Was I in Vegas? I don't know. I saw the bump. I saw the news, and I was with some buddies, and everybody was like, "Whoa, that was higher than we all kind of expected. That was a pretty good bump." So kudos to them. I mean, obviously getting ready. BlizzCon's coming, which I should say for those of you out there traveling to BlizzCon, you should come party with us on Thursday, November 6th. It's the day before BlizzCon officially starts. It's Game Breaker, Zam, and WoW Insider over at the Annabella Hotel. We'll be throwing that party like we usually do. If you guys haven't seen it, we'll also be live streaming the entire party for you guys right here on Game Breaker. I don't know the exact time of when the live stream starts, but it is it's November 6th. Mark your calendars. You guys are at home hanging out. We'll be doing that. We'll have a bunch of people down as we usually do. Devs will probably pop by. Jesse Gox will be there. Tally will be there. Serious Gaming will be there. Who knows? Probably Walt Grendor will be there. Tons of people. A bunch of people coming. So lots of swag to give away. I know I've been hearing in the meetings, the BlizzCon meetings, about the stuff Zam's got lined up to give away to all you people at the party. So you're gonna want to get there. Get there early, by the way. I'll update you guys with times, and we'll do a whole post and stuff with the exact times. I don't have the exact times of when the door opened yet. The door's open yet, but bigger than any year previous as well. They've rented out the entire place this year, which is much bigger, more space than we've ever had. And I believe they're covering the pool, which they usually don't do. So damn, I guess I can't jump in the pool at the end of the night.
And those of us who can't go to the party will be hanging out in the chat and the live stream.
Yeah, everybody hang out in the chat and the live stream. We'll party all night, and we'll have a good time. It's always a fun time. I will not be chugging Red Bull this year. That's my one goal. Sorry. Not doing it. That was the worst.
That horrible.
I like Red Bull, but I chugged, I think, 2 of them. Jesse and I did it. And then at 5 in the morning, I was just like laying in bed. Why can't I sleep? Why can't I sleep?
Good. It's like, I don't even know what you're drinking there. It's like liquid metal.
Liquid metal. Yeah, speaking of metal, Metallica.
Nice segue, Justin.
Yes, the closing concert of BlizzCon is Metallica. What do you guys think of the choice?
I'm old, so I remember being a Metallica fan back when they were good. I know a lot of the younger crowd and folks who think that they're bad now or overexposed or sellouts are not super happy about it. It doesn't bother me. I've seen probably Metallica in concert maybe more than anybody else over my lifetime.
Wow, nice. What, Justin, you a fan?
Much. No. I really don't care for the music.
I feel like when I go... I just feel like when I go out to BlizzCon, like it's not that super young of a crowd, and I think they know that. Last year was Blink, which is not super young. Like you're probably, but BlizzCon is not a super young crowd at all. It's like, I'd say mid-20s to like 40, like 40s probably, with most people like landing somewhere around their late 20s and 30s. So that's kind of a good choice to me. Then. I don't know.
I'm right age to be just old enough to still think Metallica's. I'm fine with Metallica.
I mean, I'm not. I believe me. I love Metallica. Everything up to Master of Puppets is amazing. After that, and I can't stand the way Hetfield sings. Doesn't Hetfield, by the way, you guys watch Convert to Raid? Pat Crane doesn't Pat Crane kind of look like James Hetfield?
A little bit, yes. Yes. He's definitely kind of got the Hatfield vibe going on for sure.
Right? Look at that's kind of Pat Crane. He kind of does. He's got like the same hairline. He's got like that. I'm telling you.
Should get them next to each other at the event.
So BlizzCon should be super fun this year. Lots of stuff going on. We're all like internally talking about what's going to be the big reveal. What's going to be the big reveal? Nobody really knows exactly. There's rumors flying all over about crazy ideas.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I mean, you think there's going to be a big reveal? Or are they just going to do the movie as their big thing?
I'm thinking movie. There's rumors flying around about new IP.
New IP, I don't know. There are rumors flying around, but it just almost feels like there would have been more.
I always say there is a new IP, but they're not going to announce it anytime soon in the next year.
Yeah, I'd be really surprised. I think the movie's the big go-to thing this year. No big surprises other than seeing something really cool for the movie, and I think it just kind of moves along somewhat uneventful other than that. And then next year the buzz starts for something else. They'll have to have something by this time next year. I'm still pulling for another Warcraft RTS. So come on, Blizzard. Maybe a Heroes launch announcement.
That's been a big debate, and I think I've kind of changed sides on this, and I don't think that that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, no. I don't feel like they're that far along.
They can have a beta.
They
can do a beta announcement though, because they're still into tech alpha.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that. Well, the other thing here is they are not going to want anyone doing anything but playing World of Warcraft. Like when that expansion comes out, they don't want you doing anything but that. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. New IP would be pretty crazy though. That would knock everybody's socks off.
And then 7 years from now, we find out it's not going to happen, and everybody speculates about what it could have been.
I'm looking at chat room. StarCraft expansion could be on deck. I could see them.
They've still got they haven't done a Protoss expansion yet, have they?
No. I feel it's too soon for Diablo. I don't think we'll see anything from Diablo. It's too soon. You know the WoW stuff. Heroes, like you said, I don't know. I think you're just going to chill for a little bit longer on that. Maybe let some more people in. Are you in, by the way, yet, Troy? Troy, are you in?
Yeah, have you gotten access yet, Troy?
No.
Q got access the other day.
Are you kidding me right now?
There's another.
All these things. We're letting more people in. All these people we're letting in. I was supposed to be on a list to get into this game.
Let's see if we can make that happen. Let's make this happen.
Oh yeah, I'm on a list. I'm on the don't let this fool in anything we do list. I can't believe I got Warlords Alpha. It blew my mind. It's the first thing I've ever gotten into beta or alpha wise.
There was a fan that blew off part of the list and it fell into Shredder.
Oh, whoops.
He lost his name.
This guy thought he was banned from all this.
Thought he was banned. All right, I want to talk about some Nightmare Tide with you, Troy. First, got to tell you guys about Audible. A sponsor for the rest of the show. Love having Audible on. Been a fan for years and years and years. I've been a subscriber. I want to hook you guys up with a free 30-day trial and a free audiobook just by going to audible.com/gamebreaker. So all you got to do is just go to that URL, sign up, make an account, download the app, put it on your iPhone, your Kindle, your Android, whatever you got. They got a bunch of great World of Warcraft books. Now's the time to catch up. Now is the time. Seriously.
Purpose was left to them. Many blues had already departed. Some had sought his blessing before leaving the Nexus. Kalikos continued to be their leader, although the powers of an aspect were no longer his. They had told him that they were restless and wished to see if there was some other place in the world where their skills and abilities would be appreciated. The rest had simply gone. Present one day, vanished the next.
You could choose any of the World of Warcraft books to be one of your free choices. If you don't like World of Warcraft, there's plenty of other sci-fi. There's sci-fi fantasy, Game of Thrones, you name it, a bunch of Star Wars books. There's thousands, there's tens of, I think there's over 100,000 actually books, audio books on audible.com. And you're going to get one free audiobook. And check out the service free, absolutely free for 30 days just by going to audible.com/gamebreaker. So go check it out. Sign up today. Check out that Jaina Proudmoore book too. That's a good one. All right, next up. Troy, I know you want to talk about this. You want to talk about the rifts. So Nightmare Tide got a little bit delayed, but now it is here. You got 5 new levels. You got 3 new beautiful zones. You got new rifts, including Nightmare rifts. You got masteries. Minion system card game shenanigans.
And most importantly, I saw a level 65 last night.
What? When? No, okay. When did it officially go live?
Yesterday, like I don't know. They went down for maintenance at like 9:30 Pacific. We're down for a couple of hours, and there was a dude last night, level 65. Booyah!
By what time? How many hours was it live?
By last night for me last night, we're probably talking 3 or 4 a.m. this morning. So it wasn't like 8 o'clock last night, but before the sun came back up, this dude was level 65. Now, granted, he was probably patron, and he's probably like me and had like a stash of XP potions just put back. I can see where it's probably possible, but it was still amazing. Usually when something like that happens in MMO, let's be honest, it's some form of an exploit of some kind, but I have no idea how this dude got level 65, but he was absolutely level 65, and I whispered him and said, I bet 65 chat's boring.
Did you get a response?
Yes, he was like, well, I'm sort of singing to myself in it, hoping that somebody else pops in soon. So
what do you think of the expansion so far? You've been jumping in there, you've been checking it out, and you're a huge Rift fan, so what do you think of Nightmare Tide so far?
So far, I'm fairly impressed. At first on the PTR, of course, I didn't play a lot on the PTR because this is one of those I didn't want to spoil for myself. I wasn't overly impressed. I didn't see a whole lot there. Now that I've hit level 61 last night, so I'm a level up. I'm very deep into the very first big, huge zone. I'm liking it more so far than Storm Legion, actually. Now, granted, I'm still very early into it. I'm only level 61, but I'm definitely having probably more fun questing and stuff than I was in Storm Legion. Here again, there's nothing groundbreaking happening. They haven't like reinvented the wheel or anything, but the zone, I like the zones. There's more detail in the zones than there were in Storm Legion zones. Instead of a bunch of little zones where this is the purple zone and this is the brown zone, there's just 3 really big zones, and they sort of have variations of that theme as you go through them. So there's lots of coral and oceans, and then you get into like the salt flats, and it really feels like salt flats. It's just a lot more detail in the zones is making it a lot more interesting. Story-wise, it's, meh so far. Rift's never really been super strong in their story. They've said that they're trying to make an effort to improve that coming into this expansion. And so far, the most impressive thing that I've enjoyed so far, and even with just one little minion, is the minion system. And probably my favorite thing I saw in chat last night was one guy just in zone chat. He was like, "What's your favorite part of Nightmare Tide, and why is it minions?" And it's so simple. It's just a little card game, and you collect little minions, and you get little random tasks up top, and then you send your minion on a task that could take anywhere from 5 minutes to 15 minutes or 8 hours or 10 hours, and they come back and they bring rewards and they level up. And if your minion has a certain little symbol, like a little sword or a raindrop or whatever, and the mission has that same symbol, they have a chance to come back with better rewards. And it's so simple, and it is so it's just fun for like no reason. It's just fun to send these little minions out on this mission and kind of work this little card game. And Tryon, I know you're not morons, and I know you already know this, but you need to get the minion system on the mobile app.
Yeah. Seems like a no-brainer. Seems like a no-brainer, right?
That has got to go. That will revamp your mobile app, because right now Tryon's mobile app serves almost no purpose whatsoever. And you get that on there, and heck, go. I don't even care. Go ahead, put the ability to purchase gems on there, because you can make the missions go faster by spending gems, or unlock additional slots and stuff like that by spending gems. Put a gem purchase thing in your mobile app. I don't care. Just get this thing on your mobile app, and all I will ever do is sit here. We'll be doing TWIMMO. I'll be going, hang on. I got to get my rewards from my mission. I got to send the next guy. Hang on.
So, how many people are in this, Dan? I mean, does the servers feel pretty full?
Yes, the chat was absolutely chock full last night of people making remarks like, I'm having to refigure out my tune, or, I spent the first 30 minutes I was in the game, reorganizing my bar and everything. And so a lot of people in chat just talking up. They're very happy in chat, very, very little trolling or complaining in chat. And a lot of people that sound like they have come back and are trying to get a feel for the game again to check it out. So it's absolutely accomplished that part, at least on my server. I'm on Fabelite. So, I mean, the community seems good. There was only one World of Warcraft mention last night in chat, which, MMO or expansion launches, you get a lot, oh, well, it was the first. But this one was a very tongue-in-cheek, everybody laughed about it, sort of a WoW reference. And other than that, man, it's just everybody's been super friendly, and a lot of people coming back to the game, it seems like.
I'm looking online. I saw somebody in chats make some mention that it might have been part of the Humble Bundle, and I'm looking to see if to try and confirm that. I don't see it. Oh, yes, there it is.
Yeah, they've got a Extra Life. Is that what it is? Extra Life bundle going on right now?
Yes. So here, I'll bring this up for everybody. So this is good to know, especially for people who want to get back into Rift. Looks like they have a deal going on with the Humble Bundle with Extra Life, and you can really get this you can unlock this for $6, including a couple other games here. So that is quite a deal. Let me find.
You get Trove Beta, closed beta.
And Defiance is on that too, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Defiance.
So it's here. You go to Flash. Go to Flash Bundle. It's under the Flash Bundle area, and then if you look down here, $6 to unlock, and you get You Don't Know Jack, King Arthur's Gold, Speedrunners, and Rift right there. So
And I think
Unlock
the
it for
whole
$6.
Extra Life thing takes place this weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is this weekend. Yeah, this is a pretty good bundle. I mean, you get 30. You also get 30-day subscription for Twitch Turbo. No ads for all your all's Twitch watching for the next month.
There you go. Got to check out the Humble Bundle.
For $6,
game.
yeah.
That is a really good deal. Check it out. All right, there you go. Cool. All right, next up, last up today, let's talk about, this is an interesting story out of the BBC. Internet trolls, which pretty much means everyone watching this show, might face up to 2 years in jail under these new laws. So they've got new laws going in that internet trolls could actually face up to 2 years in jail, which...
Yeah.
Initially sounds like a fantastic idea. It's like, yeah, that'll shut them up. And then you start getting into the having to draw the fine line between what gets you put in jail and what's freedom of speech. And it's already begun. The moment we put this article up and this was first mentioned, people already started jumping on the freedom of speech bandwagon. And where does freedom of speech end and threats to someone's life begin when it comes to being on the internet? And I got news for you: the internet is real life. It's not some magical land off in the distance. If you make a threat to somebody, it should be taken seriously, and you should serve jail time for it. You should not be able to just threaten people. Oh, it's just the internet. You can't do nothing to me. But at the same time, it becomes questionable as, well, just because you feel threatened, was the statement very, questionably, was it really a threatening statement? And I don't know. This is all kind of happening over in the UK. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes. If I had to guess right now, I'd say it probably goes nowhere. But
first off,
it'd be interesting to see if something does come up there.
it already exists, though, from what I understand.
Yeah, it has a 6-month penalty right now, and they're wanting to add a couple of amendments to it, and then also change it from 6 months. And they want to quadruple that to a maximum of 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So currently, a 6-month maximum sentence comes if there's something like some sort of sexual offense or you're verbally abusive or threatening. You send some sort of threatening material online to people. You could get up to 6 months. That's currently what is already in place. And what they want to do is they want to add like an amendment where if you send a person, say a letter or a similar sort of electronic communication, like an email, I guess, or something that contains like an indecent or grossly like offensive message or a physical threat or information that could be just false or known to believe, like, that you just know it's all false, that they want to give up to 2 years. And, they're also looking at possibly trying to do another update, an amendment when it comes to revenge porn.
Yeah, which is obviously a follow-up on the whole Apple thing, or that stuff being leaked.
Yeah, so it's not really as if maybe this will go through. This actually kind of already exists. They just want to make some amendments to it and actually give it up to 2 year sentencing. So I gotta imagine swatting falls under this somehow.
Yeah, you would think so, but that almost feels like something you would have to specifically
a threat or information which is false and known or believed by a sinner to be false.
I was kind of joking.
SWAT call, right?
Yeah, I was kind of joking. I mean, I would say it definitely falls under like any of this stuff. So stop swatting, kids.
Does swatting happen in the UK? How does that work? I don't ever see anything. Just US it always seems to be.
Who knows? Sounds crazy to me. I don't know. Watch out.
Are we the only idiots dumb enough to do stuff like that?
America.
Yeah.
Justin Kennedy, follow him on Twitter at JKKennedyTV, and you've been streaming a ton.
Yes, and trying to stream more and more.
So you guys should follow Justin on Twitter. So when he goes live, you know when to go head over to his Twitch channel. What are you streaming today? Or you're not doing anything today? Right?
I was streaming before this. I was streaming The Legend of Korra.
What do you think of that? Tough, huh?
It's a lot of repeatable play, but it's pretty tough too, and it's decently fun. It's good enough. $15.
Right. Follow Justin at JK Kennedy TV. And Troy Blackburn, follow him on Twitter at NoobFridge. Check out all the stuff he writes over at GameBreaker.tv, as well as www.blacktriangle.com, writing over there as well. You can find him in Rift Nightmare. Tide.
In the Game Breaker Nation Guild. We need some folks. Come on in.
Yes, GameBreakerNation.com. Go ahead on over there because we'll all be playing Final Fantasy. I gotta get Troy to play Final Fantasy. No, we're playing Final Fantasy. Wait, you're doing Rift, then we're going to Final Fantasy, then we're gonna go to WoW, and then it'll probably be the crew.
Oh yes, the crew. We got to get through all those just in time for the crew. Yeah,
then the ESO
justice system. Then we got to jump back in that.
We got our work cut out for us.
Busy.
All right, follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Gary Gannon. Follow Gameburger TV, Gameburger TV. Check out theblacktriangle.com, which is our new site. And we do the show live on Thursdays at 5 PST, so come on over to the Twitch page and check all that out. And we'll see you next week.